Have you ever wondered how embracing your unique creative skills can help transform your life and career? Let's talk about it.
Are you tired of just getting through the day, especially when you know you were meant for more? I was too. So I started a journey to bring more joy to my life and create a life that I actually loved every single day. Join us as we'll take this journey together, celebrating our failures, being inspired by our successes, and laughing with each other along the way. We want everyone to be able to look at their lives and say, I created a life I love.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, I Created a Life I Love. My name is Janette Rodriguez, and this is.
Kristine Spindler Denton. Hi, everyone. We are so glad you are here today.
And today we are going to be talking about embracing your unique creative skills.
This
And
is
we're
our
focused.
last one, right? This is our
Yeah,
last week on creativity. It's been a fun month.
yes, it has. It has. So before we get into it, let's go ahead and talk about what's up in our
What's up?
lives. Okay, Christine, you want to share?
Yeah, for me this week, what's up with me is I when you start talking about this is what I love about the universe, God, however you want to refer back to it, never. But when you start saying, hey, I need to work on this, or I'd like to focus on this, or get better at this, the universe says, hold my beer, let me jump in and give you some situations. And that has that is exactly what has happened to me. So health wise, thank you so much to everyone sending wonderful emails. I am feeling stronger and stronger from my last cancer surgery, so I'm almost back at 100%. I just got cleared to really start like working out and doing more than just walking. I usually do weights, so I've now been cleared to do that. So I did a workout. I thought, oh, my lower body is going to be fine, right? I'm like, my upper
Uh-huh.
body is what I haven't been able to do anything with. My lower body is going to be fine. I did a lower body workout and couldn't walk for 2 days. I was walking like a
Ooh.
stiff. It was so bad. I was so sore. So I thought all my walking was good enough, but it was not. It was not. So I am, yes, there's going to be a long road back to getting strong again, but that's just fine. We're on the road. And then as far as everything else, yeah, I ran into this week a big test of what we've been talking about, of not judging a situation, of not seeing it as a negative, about staying true to myself and my journey
Mhm.
to bring more joy to my life. I had to really make sure and breathe when I was confronted kind of with somebody who lied to me and has kind of betrayed me as
Oh,
far as
no.
what, they said they would do business wise for me and took, the money that I gave them to do a certain job. And then they didn't in any way do that or complete it. And, has just been giving me the runaround for like a good week now. So I really, right, all these things we're talking about, I really had to apply it and say, okay, well, they've shown me my true colors. So I'm going to step away and move to something new. But I do still have to, either get my money back or somehow finish, the relationship in some way that's
Mhm.
fair. And it's good. It's good because I was really challenged to do it in a kind manner, right? In a calm manner, not to let my temper, because I have a temper, to not let my temper get the best of me and be rude and to still act in the way that I would be proud of through a difficult situation. And to also not judge it as negative, but to say, hey, this is an opportunity for
Yeah,
me to get better at these skills
yeah,
and
yeah,
to lean on someone else, such as Jeanette, for support in building what we are building.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think I've done a really good job, but it took, a couple of glasses of wine. It took calm breathing, some good meditation moments, some journaling,
Mhm.
but I'm really proud of myself. I haven't reacted yet. Let's not jinx me, but I haven't reacted yet in a way that I wouldn't be proud of. And I've managed to try and find the good in the situation, even though what this person did was really kind of unethical.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a part of the risk taking too. You know, it's not always going to be a straight line, but in the end it's going to challenge, both of us to be better
Yeah.
and to develop our skills and our creative skills. Exactly what we're talking about today.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
that's the good that you nailed it. That's the good that I'm trying to take away from this is that I've spent the last 48 hours not getting a lot of sleep, but completely and totally learning new skills and challenging myself to do the things I was going to be paying or I did pay this person to do. And I didn't think in a million years I would be able to do in any way. Like, I love tech. I love technology. I used it in my classroom. I love teaching people technology. I think it can have so many strong, uses. You have to balance everything, but I think it can be so helpful. And I really love a lot of things you can do with AI that are time saving and huge helps in building a business. But I did not think I would be able to do what I was paying this person to do. Otherwise, I would have never hired them, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I thought I could have done it, I would have just done it. So to now be able to see that I did it, it took no sleep and 48 hours of really hard work and a million YouTube videos and talking to friends and getting support where I could. But I'll tell you at 1 a.m. when it finally worked, I was jumping up and down, celebrating
Oh.
like there was no tomorrow. And so that's what I'm taking away from it. Like that empowering moment for me, learning the skills I had to learn and to be able to do it, it's so empowering. And so I'm focusing on the positive of it instead of maybe the money lost or the fact that someone let me down and, didn't do what they said they were going to do. I'm kind of trying to let that flow. It's not to say I wasn't upset. Like, as we all know, like I said, I was very upset, but
Mhm.
I didn't let it get the best of my emotions. I was able to handle it. And the empowerment and the strength I've gotten from having to go back to the drawing board and do it myself and learn it all, and that it worked so far, let's knock on wood, um, has been amazing. It
Mhm.
really has been amazing and showed a whole nother side to me of myself that I didn't think I had.
Yeah, yeah.
How
And you
about
have that
you?
you have that force of, like, not giving up, so kudos to you.
It's that stubbornness. I'm telling you, it's the German stubbornness in me. It's not even like a positive trait, but it's there. It's just that German gritty stubbornness that I won't fail. Like, I
Yeah,
don't care how many times I fail, in the end, I won't fail. And
yeah,
so, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that is a part of my personality. But so talk to me about you. What's up with you?
So what's up with me is, like every episode I've been saying, I have been, stumbling upon something that's really cool in Vegas. There's actually a farm out here, and they have like this pick your own vegetables, pick your own fruits, activities that you can do. And, obviously they have to be in season, but they actually had a sunflower activity in which you could cut and select however many sunflowers you want, $2 each stalk, and it was just beyond amazing just to be outside and collect those sunflowers, and being able to um do it with my husband is just so awesome, and you wouldn't think Vegas, like, it's a desert, so it's kind
I'm
of
with
funny.
you. I'm stunned. I'm totally stunned. This is so cool. So the sunflowers, are you taking the stalks and then you go and take the seeds to eat? Or is it because you're going to then plant sunflower plants in your yard?
No, to make a bouquet or if you wanna give it to a gift as a gift, it's super cheap. $2 a stalk is like, wow, and these are not tiny sunflowers, these are huge, like the size of my face.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
these are for flowers, for cut flowers to use in vases and oh, that's so cool.
yeah,
So it's a
yeah.
huge sunflower farm, and then you get to go pick the stalks that you want to make a bouquet.
Yes, yeah,
Oh, I'm in
yeah,
love with this idea.
yeah.
I should show you. Oh, I wish I had it. I was gonna look around because it was one of my favorite pictures. I think I had it up, but my dad and stepmom lived in Wisconsin. I'm trying, was it Hemet? They've moved a couple times, but they literally were right next to a whole farm. So their house was on a lake, right?
Uh-huh.
But then across the street from their house was a huge sunflower farm. So
Mhm.
like you're talking about, and so we have pictures when my girls were very young, I think like 8 and 10. So this is, well, not decades ago, but what, probably 10 years ago, 8 years ago, right? And and we're in the middle of the field, and all you see is our little faces popping up, the four of
Oh.
us, and everywhere else. And it's like zoomed out, and it's all just the sunflowers. And it was so much fun. The girls love it. It's one of my favorite pictures that I have of my dad and my two daughters
Oh.
in the middle of this field, and all you can see is these tiny little faces in between. You have to even really look in between all the sunflowers. So
Yeah.
that's so cool. So that's what you're talking about, right? A huge farm of sunflowers.
Yes, yeah. And so it was, even like the vase itself, putting them in the vase, it reminded me of the painting of Van Gogh. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, the
that's so
sunflower one.
cool.
Yeah. So
That's so cool.
very beautiful, very beautiful.
I love it. You keep finding all these amazing things in Vegas.
I
I
know.
need to do, you know what? We're going to challenge me once we get out of creativity. I'm trying to remember what next month is, but I need to get out. Like, I have kind of become too hermit like in my house because I've been working on our company and all and writing. And like I said, my writing partner and I just received an award for one of our scripts, but I've been spending so much time writing that I am not getting out, you know what I mean? And going and
Mhm.
doing different things. And so I need to take from your book and get out more and do some of those, activities that really bring you joy. And that's one of the things that bring me joy is being out in nature. It's a huge one for me. And I
Yeah.
haven't been listening to that very well lately. So I'm gonna take a page from your book.
Love it, love it. All right, so for our quote for today, I will do the first one. Creativity is seeing what others see and thinking what no one else ever thought, from Albert Einstein.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that because I think we all have different perspectives and everyone sees things a little different, which is what makes life cool, and
Hmm.
accepting those differences. So I love that quote. Let's see. This is from Dwayne Michaels. I don't know who that is, that one of them that you found, but I grabbed this one immediately when we were talking about quotes today because I think this is great. Trust that little voice in your head that says, wouldn't it be interesting if, and then do it. And I love that because that's
Hmm.
so what we're talking about today. So I think two things, right? I think both of our quotes hit on it. One is that everyone sees things different, right? And
Hmm.
that's the Einstein quote. We are all unique and we all have our unique gifts to bring to the table. And you've really got to find what makes you unique and listen to that voice inside you. And then the second one is that little voice in your head saying, wouldn't it be interesting if, and then do it. And that is listening to that little voice, right? So first you got
Yeah.
to find it and find what makes you unique, the way you see things different than other people. And then you've got to listen to it and trust it. And I think those two quotes put it together perfectly.
Yeah, it totally does. And why is it important to embrace our unique creative skills? Why is it important? So, we looked on our source of psychologytoday.com, and the article is titled How to Live More Creative or Creatively. Oh my gosh, can you help me?
Creative.
Creatively. How
There
to
you
live
go.
more creatively.
Excellent.
Yes, from Diane E. Dreher. Um, so, in this article, it mentions that creativity is not limited to artists, writers, scientists, or musicians, which is very true.
Yes.
Um, it's intrinsic to our human nature. Our creative capacity enables us not only to survive, but thrive, discover new solutions, and shape our individual and collective futures. It's so important because it drives that innovation, right? And in this article, it talks about some steps on how to embrace your skills and your creativeness. And it's very similar to what we talked about last week. So the steps were connecting with a source of inspiration, finding flow, and reaching out to others. Exactly what we said. Exactly what we said.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, love that. You would think like we're educators and have studied some of this before.
Right?
No, I love that. I think it's connecting what we talked about last week to pushing it a little forward this week. And our focus this week, we were talking a lot last week of collaboration with others, right? And how you embrace working with others and embrace different perspectives and different points of view. And I think that's great. And then this week, we're moving into really listening to yourself and knowing what you bring to the table. And I think that's so important. And I think that this article was, spot on in talking about that and how I want people to get the understanding that it's your job. Like, this is what your real job is on this planet, right? This is what your real job is. Your spirit combined with your body, your personality, right? And your life experiences at this moment in time. That all combined makes you who you are. So, that is what you need to bring to the world. So you don't have a dream or thoughts or goals or perspective unless it is meant to do something. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's
Mhm.
just given to you randomly, in my opinion, and then it's not supposed to do anything. Now, it might happen in a way that you don't see yet. It might be
Mhm.
different, right? Like it could be the person who wants to be a famous singer and has that dream of music inside them and joy, but again, they have to connect with what do they want? It's not to be a famous singer, it's to feel a certain way, right? We've
Mhm.
talked about this before. When you have goals, when you're trying to obtain something, you've got to be more connected to how it makes you feel than the exact item at the end. Because how it makes you feel will be how it makes you feel on the entire journey of it, right? So if
Mhm.
you want to feel, um, a sense of purpose and a sense of joy as you're doing something, it might not end up being the famous singer. It might end up being that you teach singing to others, right? Or you teach a music class. It might come in a different way, but you
Yeah.
will get the feeling that you're going for. So you don't want to be attached to the outcome. You want to be attached to the journey and how
Yeah.
it makes you feel as you're doing it. If you're not happy building something, if you're not happy practicing something, then you're on the wrong path. Then it's not for you because it's not about the end result. It's about using your skills daily as you are building, creating, practicing. That's where you're going to get that engagement and that joy.
Mhm.
So I just, we really want to make sure that that's what you're focused on is how something makes you feel, not the external object, right? It's always
Yeah.
internal. Your journey is always internal. It's not external.
Mhm. Yeah. And why is it so hard? Why do you think? For me, I will definitely say that I tend to compare myself to others, and I need to stop that because it is my personal journey. It's no one else, and it may have a similar journey to others. However, it is the way that I approach it. And exactly what Christine stated, like as far as, what I feel, because other people can feel completely different if they're doing, a task that's similar to what I am or something that is creative, right? But it's how it makes me feel and how it makes me feel driven and, really connected to it. So I definitely think that that's something that a lot of people, not just myself, need to
Yeah.
overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree. And I'll give you an example. As we talked about last week, writing with my partner, writing partner, and that collaboration, that journey has brought us joy. We've worked on the script for years. I had so much joy and learned so much about myself, and it gave me such a sense of happiness and just wonderful feeling when I would write with him. That was the journey. What happens to it afterwards when we're done and we're finished, like winning this award, and if it ever will be made into something don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not what I'm focused on. Would it be great? Of course. But that's in no way what I was focused on. I was focused on how I could bring my perspective and my
Hmm.
voice and my unique skills to meet with this other person, and we could have this feeling of accomplishment and laughter and joy and the fun that we had while we were writing. And of course,
Hmm.
you have moments of frustrations as well and all of that. But the journey of it and me being able to share my unique perspective and my voice was what was incredible. And that's what I focused on. And so I think it's hard because you can get focused on the outcome and not on the journey of the practicing that you're doing every day. If you're if you're not doing items every day that bring you joy, you're on the wrong path. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you have to be doing things that you just enjoy the practice of them. You just enjoy, the moments of doing them without it being connected to it has to bring me this at the end. And then you'll stay true to who you are and that voice that is yours. So that's the first one, is not being connected to an outcome. The second reason I think it's really hard is because, at least for me, I made some really big assumptions early as to what I was good at or bad at creatively. Like I told
Mhm.
myself I'm not an artist, right? I cannot draw, which I can't draw. But I it became this bigger and bigger and bigger, the list of things I couldn't do, and
Uh-huh.
so it became, "You're logical, you're hardworking, but you're not creative, you're not artsy, you're not," on that end. You're very straightforward, logical, that person. And
Mhm.
so I let myself be put into that box. And so I think that happens to us as adults, that all those things that we've been told as a child or in school from teachers, which we all know teachers who have done this, never Janette or myself. No, but that have said, oh, you're maybe just not good at that, right? I think all the teachers that I know would never use those words, and they're focused on trying to get kids to have that growth mindset. But I think
Mhm.
as adults, we really, especially my generation, Gen X, we definitely put ourselves in boxes of what we could do, what we couldn't do, what we were good at, what we were bad at. And you have to revisit that. Just like what
Mhm.
happened to me with the situation we were talking about in What's Up, it forced me to go back and learn skills and do things that I didn't think I could do. And
Mhm.
now they are skills that I have. And that would have never happened if this person hadn't let me down, right?
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it would have never happened. So that's why you got to see the good in that, in those situations. And I think it's hard to go back and challenge your beliefs about what you are good at or what you can creatively offer, because we just put ourselves into a box and say that's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, yeah. And exactly what you said, like when I feel like when we're younger, we explore, we have no problem exploring.
Yep.
We have no problem, trying new things or tasting new things or, experiencing new things. But as we grow older, we just, like you said, get into this box and it just feels like our creative juices get sucked out of us
Yeah.
because we're supposed to be a good employer or a good employee. We're supposed to be a good wife. We're supposed to be a good friend. We're supposed to, like all these things that we need to, or that society puts on us that we need to be, takes away those creative juices and takes away that imagination a little bit too. And so, exploration is huge. It's really big. And not giving up on that exploration too. You
I
know,
think
um, those are some breakthrough moments. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you nailed it when you said imagination. I mean, when is the
Hmm.
last time you just sat as an adult and just imagined things, right? And imagined what could happen, or took 5 minutes out of your day to imagine you doing different things. Like I know we talk, the world talks a lot now about visualization, right? And that kind of stuff. But imagination is just really just, not having a phone, not even having, I mean, any TV or any outside source media coming in, and just sitting with your brain and just imagining a world, imagining something you might be able to do or accomplish. And I think you nailed it. I don't think a lot of adults spend a lot of time imagining things being different or imagining the what if, like the quote said at the very beginning, what if blah blah blah, and you get,
Hmm.
and I think that's important to do in your own life, because as you said, in a job, like in my job for example, I asked what if and why are we doing it this way and can we do it differently all the time. And when you get shut down continually by, people above you saying this is the way we do it and so it's going to be done this way, you can start to let all those creative juices, like you said, shut down
Yeah.
and be blocked. And so you've got to find ways in your personal life. If you can't
Hmm.
do it at your job, which many of us can't, right? We might not have a job yet, or that we're working toward, but we might not have one yet where we get to be in charge and get to be as creative as we want to be. So if you're in that spot, you've got to give yourself time to be that way, to be open, exploring, imaginative, and creative in your personal life to balance it.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. You definitely do. And it's just so important to have those moments where you sit down and, you know, it's kind of like daydreaming, I
Yeah.
still do it. And I know daydreaming has, a lot of negative connotations, especially if you're in a specific setting. But outside setting, like you can be in your home, and just sit and those creative juices come. I've always been like that. And a lot of people kind of have labeled me as like where is she, where's her brain, where is she going with that. But it's just because I have a lot going on here that eventually I will love to share with the world. you know?
No,
Yeah,
I love that. And I
yeah.
think that I've tried to giving yourself quiet moments when you don't have an agenda. Because I've even thought about this with meditation, right? That meditation, I'm even still kind of have a purpose, like focus on your breathing, right? To calm yourself and to get into this moment. Try and clear your brain of any thoughts and do that, just have a clear mind. Let your worries just come in and come out. Let your thoughts kind of come in and come out and flow, but don't cling to any of them. Those are a lot of the statements about meditation. And meditation for me has been wonderful. And prayer, a lot of people talk about prayer, but again,
Mhm, mhm,
you're focused on either what you're asking for or what you're thanking, God or the universe for. Even in prayer, there's thoughts happening there that you're, you are consistently thinking. Taking time to sit and just daydream about anything or just imagine about anything, just let your mind be creative, has helped me a ton it in this job, in working on our podcast and working on our company, all of it, because I have taken those moments to go, okay, what if this doesn't work out? Or what if this could be the best it could be? What would that look like? What if we could look at this from a different perspective? Like having time to just like think creatively about things is so important. That's your
mhm.
imagination. That's that creativity. And we all have it. Don't say you don't. It might be harder to find for some than others. It was definitely hard for me to find. And again, I'm going to attribute it to, just like I said, the new skills that I've learned came from a bad, quote, bad situation, but it opened up the opportunity for me. My creative side has come out so much stronger since I've gone through cancer, because having that downtime, as I've said in previous podcasts, so not to repeat myself, but when you're laying in bed and you're just in pain and you can't really move and you can't get your head to focus on like reading a book and you can't watch another show, right? And you're just kind of there, it it gave I would go sit outside and just try to be, and your mind the ideas I came up with were amazing. And it's just
Mhm.
because I didn't force anything. I just let my mind wander and be as imaginative as it wanted to be.
Yes, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think that the breakthrough for me with all of this was realizing and reminding myself that creativity doesn't come in one box. It's not
Mhm.
just about being an artist, as we talked about on the previous podcast. I mean, you can be creative as a athlete, you can be creative as an accountant, you can be creative in all aspects of your life, and that seeing your life as a blank slate, and you get to write what's on it. You get to
Mhm.
ultimately be the complete creator of your life. You
Mhm.
decide every single day what music you listen to, what food you eat. Like most of us are in situations where we get to choose at the grocery store what food we eat. We get
Oh,
to
yeah.
choose what we watch on TV. We get to choose music. We get to choose how we act. We get to choose what clothes we wear. You are completely in charge of choosing and being creative in a way that brings yourself joy, or in trying to fit into some box.
Mhm.
And I don't think we give ourselves enough power and enough credit and enough responsibility to create anything we want to create with our life.
Yep. And you hit on the nail too with that as far as everything's a choice, you know. We have a free will to choose,
Yeah.
for every single situation. And it is our choice as, we live our lives and what path we want to take. So take take control of your lives, guys.
Well, I think some steps we can kind of walk away from here. I know for myself and what I've learned, at least in the last, especially in the last 8 months for me with this life and journey through cancer, has been you've got to get to know yourself better. And we have said this continuously on this podcast, and you're going to hear me beat that drum forever and ever, that this all starts with you putting yourself first. You cannot give joy to others. You cannot take care of others. You cannot make anyone else truly happy if you do not have that already,
Mhm.
because it has to be inside you if it's going to be authentic and real. Otherwise, you can't sustain it. So, the first thing is you've got to really get to know yourself and what brings you joy, and where you are curious, where you are creative, where you are going, hey, what if we tried it this way? What if we looked
Mhm.
at it that way? You've got to figure out where you do have a different perspective than everybody else and where you are able to see things differently and
Mhm.
grab it, honor it, and embrace it, right? And honor when you have those moments. So, the only way you're going to do that is if you try a bunch of new things, if you are exploring, if you're giving yourself that time to
Oh, yeah.
really not just believe the boxes that you society and you have put yourself in. You've got to break out of them and really get to know yourself. The second thing is that trying new things, right? And that's the way you get to know yourself is by exploring. And I think that's huge. And when you feel the third one for me is when you feel that energy, that sense of empowerment, if it's the practice and the doing, and if you are feeling energized, empowered, joyful as you're practicing something, working on something, building something, creating something, that's when you got to go, ooh, this is something I need to hold on to and make sure I make a priority in my life.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, sometimes people can get lost in the sauce, I like to say. And
Yes.
if you need any guidance or any of that, even just to get to know yourself, there's a plethora of like personality test out there that you can take. Obviously, you want to take the ones that are reputable and, from good sources. But just to get to know what type of person you are, by answering a few questions can definitely help you out.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
We give those to kids all the time, right? In high
Yeah.
school, as far as, interests and hobbies, and talk to kids all the time as to what, and really talk to them about what they think they want to do because they want the outcome of it, right? Where they think they want to be a certain thing. But then when you
Hmm.
talk to them about what they would have to do to get there, what the journey is to get there, what they would have to practice, what skills they would have to gain. They don't want, they're like, I don't like doing that. I don't want doing that. And that's why we're like, well, then that's not the end result you want. Because again, you've got to have joy in
Hmm.
the creating, in the building, not in the final result, or you're in trouble, or you won't keep it up. So I think that that's really, really important.
Yes. Yes. Now, talking about moment of joy, Christine. So, what is your moment of joy?
Um, I think my moment of joy would have to be, which I talked about already, was the moment like at 1 a.m. when I was so down. I really was being completely honest. I was so down when I realized what was happening and that any of the things I'd pay for were not going to happen. And I felt like, why is this so hard? Right? Why
Yeah.
am I struggling? Like my intention is good and my focus is good. And I've been working so hard. You go into that woe is why is me type of, right? And you
Yeah.
do, we're human and you have those moments. Like I said, we all have them, but I was able to pretty quickly flip it around and be like, okay, okay, how am I going to use this? Right? I sat down
Hmm.
with a glass of wine and said, how am I going to use this?
Yeah.
How am I going to get stronger through this? How am I going to get better through this? And why is this happening for me? Not to me, but for me. And it was when I started like, okay, maybe I could figure it out. Maybe I could do it. I didn't, I got to be honest, I didn't believe it. I didn't. You know what I mean? I just thought, maybe let's try it. And
Hmm.
the fact that I was successful in doing it, that feeling It blows you away. That sense of empowerment when you achieve something you never thought you were gonna have to do or that you could do is really cool. How about you? What was your moment of joy this week?
My moment of joy is connected to what I mentioned earlier. It is being able to make that sunflower bouquet and just it, bringing me smiles every day that I pass by it because I put it in my kitchen. And so I'd pass by it and I would check on it. It was like my little baby and taking pictures of it. So I'll share a picture with you guys right now. And it's just beautiful, beyond beautiful. So it brought me a rays of sunshine.
I just think it's so cool for anyone on a journey right now. I really hope you guys are on this journey with us because the transformation so even so far have been amazing to me. And one of them being how when we started our very first podcast and we're starting this, and I think you joined me on like episode 3 or 4, and you were about to move. You were so nervous. You
Yeah.
were not negative about it, but you definitely had concerns, right? To
Yes.
start all over in a completely different place when you've
Yep.
lived your whole life, all your friends, your whole family is somewhere else, and you're
Mhm.
very close to them. It is not easy to do. And I know you've come back to California quite a bit to see people and stay in touch, which is great, but every single episode, there's kind of been this level heightened with you of contentment and joy in where you are now. And
Mhm.
that to me is just amazing because you've done it through all the things we've been talking about. You've done
Yeah.
it through getting out there and exploring. You've done it through
Mhm.
putting yourself in situations you wouldn't normally do and volunteering completely on your own and taking drives completely on your own, while your husband was working or whatever to find new places and do things. And you've pushed yourself to go outside of your comfort zone. And I just see you as being so happy right now
Aw.
and so much, I don't know, just stronger, just more empowered in creating your life that I don't know. It just makes me so happy because I
Thank you.
I remember those first episodes and how you were feeling and I just see a different person and I hope everyone's with us doing these journeys with us because it's life changing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I am very fortunate to have the time and the opportunity to take advantage of doing, the work on myself. And I am trying to make sure that I actually do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're very grateful for it every day and you're
Yes.
not, letting it just happen. You are actively, creating your purpose and your joy. And I'm so proud of you. I think it's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everybody, don't forget about our meditation minutes. We'll do have a new meditation minute that will be up. So that's at our YouTube, on our YouTube shorts, on our channels there. So again, those are for you to use throughout the day. Pick any one of them. Listen to the sounds of nature. Some of them have music, most of them are just nature sounds and shots of trees or the ocean or just the sound of wind through leaves is just so calming. And they really ask you to just take a minute when you are rushing through your day. Do it on your drive home, drive to work, at lunch, anytime you can, just to make sure that you are refocusing on yourself and checking in with yourself that you are bringing yourself joy right
Mhm.
in that day. It's your day. This is your time and that you make sure that you are actively being a part of your day and creating what you want. So use those minutes.
Yes. And don't forget to become a member on our website. I created a lifeilove.com and you'll get access to the ebook and digital pages. So make sure you sign up. And it's just a plethora of amazing different resources that you can use to help you through your journey of joy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and we're also starting a community too. So you're going to have access to that. It's going to be a private community only for members, positivity only allowed. And so that's a part of it too. So those digital pages are great. We've talked about some of them. We'll talk about it more next week because we're out of time now. But they're really great to dive deeper into the things that we're talking about here and really write out, what brings you joy, where you're feeling creative, where you're feeling stuck, and to work and do that work on yourself. So hopefully they're helpful. We put a lot of time into those. So
Mhm. All right. For next week, what are we talking about, Christine?
we are talking about prioritizing mental health. So taking
Yes.
care of yourself. I'm so excited.
We are definitely moving on to a new um, topic or a new theme of self compassion, having that self compassion for yourself.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for listening to us this week, and we hope to see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Well, go out there, everybody, and create a life you love. Bye.
Bye.